Hello, welcome back. Today we're going to do more of these island matrix problems. Today's problem is LeetCode 200, number of islands. So you're given a binary grid that represent the map. And on this map, the ones are lands and the zeros are waters. So the island is surrounded by water formed by connecting adjacent lands horizontally and vertically. So let's take a look at one of the examples that they provided. So on this grid, you can see that these are lands, and they're connected horizontally and vertically. So this will be considered as one island. Here is another island, and here is another island. So total, there are 3 islands in this map. Notice that the lands are connected horizontally and vertically. They are not connected diagonally. These two are 2 different islands. So our job is to find out how many islands on the map. Let's take a look at the code. So I code in C#. The code is provided in the GitHub links below. First of all, with these problems, I usually initiate 2 variables. NR is number of rows, and NC is number of columns of the grid. These variables are here and there. I also initiate the variable total number of island counted. That's the value that I will return at the end. So next, I would iterate the grids with a double for loop. So I iterate every row and every column. And for each cell, I will check whether this is land or not, as indicated by the value. So once I find that this is a piece of land, then I would increment the total number of islands by 1. And then I'm going to call a recursive function find island. Let's talk about this recursive function. First of all, it will check whether that is a valid cell. So valid means that the coordinates I and j are within the bounds of number of rows versus number of columns. And also the value is that 1, so that is land. And then I'm going to change that value to 0. The number of islands here is accounted for already. The idea is to change all these to zeros in a recursive function. In the recursive call, I will change the coordinates such that the values are changed to the cell above, the cell below, the cell towards the left, and the cell towards the right. Notice that when you change this in the recursive call, sometimes the call will call to a cell that's outside of the boundary. That's why it's valid cell functions there to check whether that is the case. And if it's the case, then it will not run this recursive call for that cell. Notice that every cell is only visited once, right? If it's a land, all the adjacent cells will be converted to 0, and these will not be seen again. If it's 0, it will just skip. So after that, we are able to find all the number of islands on the grid. Let's talk about the running time complexity. Each cell is only visited once, regardless whether it's the land or water. So the complexity is basically big O of the size of this grid. Okay, that's very simple. Let's take a look whether it works. And it's good. Okay, so next time we're going to do more of these questions. Hope to see you then.